Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the most maddening challenges for any home garage painter: how to get that perfect, glass-like finish without dropping a ton of cash. You know the feeling, right? You've spent hours, maybe even days, sanding, masking, cleaning. You finally pull the trigger, and instead of a perfect mirror, you get orange peel. It is just a total DIY heartbreak. But here's the thing. What if I told you the problem isn't actually your technique? What if the huge gap between a pro finish and a frustrating mess is all down to the spray gun you're holding in your hand? The issue is, buying a spray gun right now is just a nightmare. You get blasted with all these acronyms: HVLP, LVLP, HTE, and every box makes these impossible promises of a professional finish from a tool that just can't deliver. So in this explainer, we are going to cut through all of that marketing fluff. We are going to reveal the single most important secret, the one thing manufacturers aren't always shouting from the rooftops, that will make sure your next paint job is your best paint job. All right, let's jump right in. We're going to start with the big problem that every single DIY painter is facing these days. Not that long ago, your choices were, well, they were pretty bad. You either had to spend almost $1,000 on a professional German or Japanese spray gun, or you bought a cheap throwaway gun that just sputtered paint and basically guaranteed you'd be sanding for hours. And when you see that professional paint jobs are now costing upwards of $7,000, well, the motivation to do it yourself has never been higher. And that's created this whole new market for the prosumer, the serious DIYer who wants pro-level tools, but at a price that actually makes sense. So, what is this big secret? It all comes down to one technical spec. Get this wrong, and your paint job is pretty much doomed from the start. And it's the one thing that's often buried in the fine print. That secret is CFM, which stands for cubic feet per minute. Now, this is not about pressure, not PSI. This is all about volume. The best way to think of it is like this. CFM is the fuel for your spray gun. If your air compressor can't supply enough of that fuel, the gun is just going to sputter and die right in the middle of a pass. And you can see the whole problem laid out right here. Those old school HVLP guns are incredibly thirsty. We're talking 13 to 16 CFM. Your typical home compressor just can't keep up with that. And this is what led to the rise of LVLP guns, low volume, low pressure, which were supposed to be the answer. But here is the absolute truth, the thing you need to know. A lot of guns that are sold as LVLP are really just hybrids. To get that perfect fine mist, what painters call atomization, they still need a healthy 9 to 11 CFM. So if you try to run one of these on a small compressor that's only putting out, say, 5 or 6 CFM, you're just going to starve the gun, kill the atomization, and you'll end up right back where you started, with that awful orange peel. So if you know all that, how in the world do you find a gun that actually works with a normal home garage setup? Well, it turns out one company built a tool that solves this problem perfectly. After a whole lot of testing, one gun came out as the clear winner for the modern prosumer: the InnoCraft D1 LVLP Premium Kit. And I'm telling you, it's not just a good gun for the price, it completely redefines what you can achieve in your own garage. So why does it win? It really comes down to 3 huge things. First, it solves the part of painting that everybody hates: the cleanup. Second, its performance is on par with guns that cost 3 times as much. And third, it's the whole package, a complete system right out of the box. Okay, let's talk about cleaning for a second. The D1 has this special Teflon coating. In tests, even hardened clear coat, which would normally make you reach for a wire brush, it just wiped right off with a solvent rag. The person reviewing it literally said the paint fell off. It is a game changer. For anyone at home without a $1,000 industrial gun washer, this is, well, it's huge. And what about performance? This gun lays down a massive spray pattern, about 11.5 to 12 inches wide. That means you can cover big panels, like a hood or a roof, really fast and really evenly. And it has these soft edges that make blending your passes just a breeze. It lays clear coat down so flat it looks like glass before you even touch it. Now, the D1 is the best all-around choice, no question. But it's not the only great gun out there. Depending on your compressor, there are a couple of other fantastic options you should know about for very specific situations. And this table just perfectly illustrates the trade-offs you have to make. You've got the InnoCraft D1 sitting right there in the sweet spot, needing about 10 CFM. But what if your compressor is smaller than that? Or what if it's way, way bigger? If you're working with a smaller, maybe a 20-gallon compressor, the ANI F160 is this little marvel of Italian engineering. It is a true low-volume gun. It gives you beautiful atomization while just sipping air, only about 5 to 6 CFM. It's designed to keep your compressor from running out of breath. The only trade-off? You get a slightly narrower spray pattern. Then, on the complete other end of the spectrum, if you've got a big 60-gallon compressor in your shop, there's the Astro Evo T14. This is a pro-style workhorse. It's a fast gun that lays down a lot of material really quickly. But you have to be warned, it is hungry. It demands 11 to 13 CFM to run right. But if you can feed it the air at once, it is an absolute beast. Okay, so let's wrap all this up with a super clear final verdict to help you make the right choice for your garage and your projects. Here it is, plain and simple. For the best overall package, performance, features, and value, get the InnoCraft D1. If your air supply is limited, the ANI F16 is your savior. And if you have a massive compressor and you want to spray like a pro, the Astro Evo T14 is the gun for you. But at the end of the day, even a great tool is only one part of this whole equation. You have to remember the golden rule of bodywork. A perfect finish is 90% preparation and only 10% application. By choosing the right gun, like the InnoCraft D1, you finally solve that crucial 10%. You've got the tool. So the only question left is your prep work ready for it?